you all have to, Charlie talked a lot about this. He talked about his journey of faith. You know, that when we were at UVU, the first question that Charlie got was about religion. And they're trying to kind of catch him and trying to say something negative about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and he wouldn't take the bait. And he said, if you try to get me to say something negative, I'm not going to. I love people here. We're all on our journey of faith. And so whether it's you or whoever here or somebody who's not here, that's a lifelong journey. That's not something that just, oh yeah, I got it, I achieved it, I checked that box. So I get a lot of strength through the power of prayer. I get a lot of strength from my wife, my family, my kids. I love going out in nature. I love doing wildlife photography when I kind of want to clear my head. You got to all find, I think, that other thing in your life where you can just kind of be at peace, clear your head, get rid of all the stresses of being students, and just go out and find what you enjoy. Find a hobby, do those types of things. So I don't want to be preachy about it, but nobody should have to witness and go through what I went through, what my family and what those 3,000 people went through at UVU. I will never unsee that. I will always feel it. But I also want to tap into it for good and know that it is a fight of good versus evil. And the last thing we can let happen is let evil prevail by having all these good people cower and not step up to the plate and say, yeah, we got numbers. We got numbers. Thank you.
And I want to shout everybody out here, coming out here and just the USA chants that we're just rocking this entire building. That's the response afterwards. It's incredible to watch and witness. And God bless each of you, especially you for being there that day. We are praying for you every day, just like we are everyone else. So God bless you, my man.
Okay, my name is John, and my question is for Spencer Cox. What role should the state or universities play in combating misinformation after tragic events? And do you support any regulations of AI tools that produce false narratives?
Thank you. So, look, free speech is really important, especially on college campuses. And one of the things I admire most about Charlie was his willingness to go on to college campuses. I don't know that it's the role of a university to police information or misinformation, because the problem is who gets to decide what is misinformation? We've seen far too often that people tell us something's misinformation and then it turns out to be true later. So I don't like universities being able to do that. Now, when it comes to artificial intelligence, this is really critical. We're doing something in the state of Utah that it's not being done anywhere else. We have an AI policy lab where we work with companies that are implementing those policies. I do not want government to be involved in the creation of AI or limiting the innovation of AI. We are in an AI arms race with China and Russia right now, and we have to win that. And we need the best innovators in the world here in the United States working on AI. Now, when it comes to the tools that are being used, we have to be involved as a state, and we have to be very careful. But we can't control information or misinformation, but the way those are being used. So right now, for example, there are AI companies that are trying to do therapy with AI. We're going to regulate that. We want to be very careful. These AI chatbots, especially for kids, that I think are absolutely evil. And I think we have to hold these companies accountable that are putting them out. These sex bots for kids, I mean, it's disgusting. Terrible. So there is a role for the states to play, but again, we have to be very careful with who's controlling the information.
If I look at you, you tell me what he said. Okay,
Come on up.
My name is Walker, and I have a question for Congressman Biggs. With increased polarization, what's your message to students who feel scared by political speech? How can we tangibly fight back without becoming violent?
I missed that last part. What did we say? You have to.
How can we tangibly fight back without becoming violent?
Yeah. How can we fight back? How do we fight back against the political speech without becoming violent?
So you have to know, first of all, you have to know what you believe. Okay, so you're not persuaded by somebody else's political speech. And then the next thing is you have to know enough so you can understand what they're saying. And then the third thing is, I talk to people honestly. I tell them what I think. I do it with clarity. I do it with purpose. I hold my principles strong. And sometimes they don't appreciate that. But there's no point in accelerating it, right? So sometimes I just say, disagree, I'm out, and I leave. I don't give up my point. I don't give up my viewpoint, and I don't let it get to the level of that. The other thing is, no ad hominem attacks. Why would I call somebody a name? No, I don't need to. My logic is crystal clear, always.
I've known Andy for a long time. The one thing I appreciate about Andy Biggs, he outsmarts the establishment all the time.
Yeah, and I'm kidding when
Kevin
I say
McCarthy hated that.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just kidding when I say my logic's always crystal clear. But my point is, at some point, you have to know enough and be prepared. I mean, I was always impressed with Charlie because Charlie studied. I don't know when he studied.
Yeah.
But he knew so doggone much, and so when somebody would confront him, he could always respond because he was prepared. You know, they say God can't pull a ladle from an empty bucket. So make sure your bucket's full of knowledge, and also with respect. And that's how I avoid violence. The other thing is, if you know there's going to be violence, make sure that you're safe. Make sure your loved ones are safe. And quite frankly, and I see this because I'll just share this number with you. This will blow your mind. Last year, there were more than 9,000 death threats against members of Congress, the highest ever. This year, there will be more than 40,000. We're already over 30,000. And so you need to make sure that you're wary. And if someone is looking a little like they want to fight, there's no need to fight, because you're going to have to fight them with logic. And if they don't have logic in them, the battle's over. You've already won.
Watch out for crazy people, head on a swivel, and then fight people with logic.
Exactly.
Has anyone here, just as a follow up to this question, who has felt angry since September 10th? Like, most of the room is raising their hand. It's all about turning that anger into action, right? Is using those feelings
That's right.
into positive outcomes, which you can do through Turning Point at Turning Point USA. Turning Point Action will put you to work, particularly in Arizona. But yeah, absolutely, that's important. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Next up.
My name is Kennedy Miller, and I have a question for Governor Cox. We are not going to stop talking because of the political assassination that happened to Charlie. So what concrete steps are you and the state going to take to ensure the outdoor debate style of events can still continue on college campuses while ensuring that students are safe?
So again, this is why this attack. I've heard people say, like, well, I heard it here, we shouldn't hold this event. There were a lot of people that said we shouldn't hold this event.
Lots of people, by the way, said cancel this. This is
that we should not do this. And I said absolutely not. You have to hold this event, right? I grew up on.
By the way, it would have been really easy for any of these guys here to say no to the call to be here, and so I appreciate everyone being here.
Yeah, thanks.
We're not wusses here, right? That's at least.
This is why I say that attack was not just an attack on Charlie; it was an attack on all of us, because now we have to think differently than we thought before, and it makes it harder, right? There are people, if we have an outdoor event, who might feel like they don't want to come because they're worried that something could happen, and now we've just killed free speech, right? Because they don't feel like they can show up. So what we do is we have to. We're working with law enforcement to learn everything we can about what happened there. Can stop that from happening. So you technologies having.
Do you believe
more security? Those I hate it. I hate that we have to security to get into things, because it's very un-American to me. But I said that we need to protect not just only people who are on stage, but the people who are out in that tonight. So coming. That's my violence coming from the right. I'm looking down from the right. We have almost the entire predominant legislature here. I want to thank all of us for being here, as well as some members of Congress. Well, if you are in it later a member of Congress, I had to learn to be general. Will you put the hard way so that people who we have here?
What? Ideas.
And some of them are spread in other areas because we didn't have enough people even in. Speaker of the House is here. Speaker Schultz, we've already been having these discussions, thank you, to make sure you don't want funding for our universities. So if you look and hold these events, I mean, again, we'll be on roofs, we'll have drones, we'll to keep people safe so that we can keep doing
An issue.
Not going to let the terrorists win.
I've grown up. I feel like. Think of Washington.
My name is Elizabeth Message, and my question's for Andy Biggs.
All right.
A lot of people have been really impacted by Charlie's death and motivated to get more involved.
Elizabeth.
Biggest worries is that this momentum will slow down and eventually disappear. How can we get people to stay involved and let our momentum continue?
Believe in God.
And we've seen
But you continue to people to come,
drag
continue to grow.
Yeah.
And it's going to continue to grow.
not that long.
Out in my mind. Charlie's martyrdom,
We don't like
if you will, actually catalyzing
yeah.
the public broadly across the country. And a lot of people to get involved, they simply need
we can get
invitation. But you
That's,
involved, being active, it's gonna repel this thing. I a Stanford call. He said my first goes to an East Coast university. She wants to start a new chapter.
I'm teasing.
Who should I call? So I texted Tyler, and Tyler sent me the link. They had their first and this is a very liberal, left-leaning Atlantic University. I'll say it is.
What is going on with
They
the
had over
audio?
100 people at their first meeting.
Pretty
That's
there from you.
that's what I like. Getting involved, staying in
Some of that
and opening
out this.
and not being afraid to act.
I guess that
Because your energy,
like some of that
the energy keep flowing.
is
This movement is not going. It
culture
actually explode or just be quite most
few weeks.
political,
It's to shift
social phenomenon
and how
that we have probably seen 100 and some odd years in this country to change this nation.
because approach
stories like Tyler Robinson's. He came
Down.
from a Christian family, and it's
Can we
that when he went off to college,
on our
he was drastically more indoctrinated.
thing
What practical steps do you plan to
that is
or do you think the government should take
looking for
when it comes to higher education
affirmation
evolving into indoctrination camps?
freaking many that have been. I think I heard that question. I think I heard the question. And first of all, in here, it's full night in Utah. I'm glad you're here. This is Dick is to the. I like when Margaret Thatcher make sure she said first you need to win the argument on win the votes. And you're talking specifically about who becomes so radicalized. Somebody who becomes now so he's really perverted in their somebody who is. But I believe it's past people that see that and hear that for years, feel that, and they know see it, and we have to watch out for those. Those who believe, those are our neighbors. It's not enforcement does an amazing job. Facility never can't be everywhere. Anything. It goes to this question about mental health. We have a long ways to go to want to make assessment and how we treat it, and it not oversimplify it. You can again, it all goes back to this degree of time that I just stood. There's some things, some actions. There is cases that are just Charlie. We should not tolerate them. And we should not put up with them. We shouldn't have to live with them. There has to be a way to balance their concept, rights with just now for freedom, right? In this shirt, right? Freedom. Feed them with yes, dignity. Freedom is all the ability to live the life that you in the way you want to lead it. We're children of God. And if we are that premise that we're all children of God, we can deal with it compassionately, but it doesn't mean we have to teach it all. Right? Some of the things that are spewed. And when it crosses that line to that hatred, but it for me over the line to say a little act out and thrash out.
So I
Those people need to be arrested.
don't feel
They need to be detained. They need to be
yeah,
and some of them need to be incarcerated.
the church.
So that has to happen in a church happening now nationally. Seriously, it's just not.
Inclusion policy.
Can I just bring up something on that one?
And
Is that okay? So I just want to
church.
bring up something because you specifically
In Utah.
universities, right, and college.
What is
And one of the things that I'm concerned about over the past couple of decades is the lack of
You've got to be
diversity on college campuses.
also have to
It's deeply troubling. And
tough.
I want to give a shout out to
How do you
the
go?
legislature.
There's
we
something
just
weird
closely with
going
Utah
on
State
with the
University
audio.
on something that I think is groundbreaking.
Go down the
It will over the next couple of years, will be in every university in the state. But we're going to start teaching other thing. Western thought again. We all have to all of our freshmen for their in this. This decision. I want to be very careful. This is not conservative thought response. We're not trying to replace liberal ideas on all. And we absolutely have to take mental illness more seriously in this country. And we have to get people help for what they're dealing with. And you know how you do that, though? Charlie had the answer to that as well. It's like, get off your couch, get off social media, get married, have kids, do something with your life. We have to have more grit and responsibility. So much of the mental illness we're seeing is caused by that.
Andy?
I'll be very brief. Charlie said you got to come to Christ, honor our Judeo-Christian ethic. Now, that doesn't mean you aren't honest. You have to be honest and call balls and strikes the way they are. And when you call balls and strikes the way they are, you can do it with respect and dignity. But I will tell you this, if you don't call balls and strikes, if you aren't honest, if you aren't speaking with clarity, purpose, and principle, you are deceiving yourself, and you're deceiving the person that you're having the conversation with. You have to be straightforward, and you're going to find that there are points of agreement many times. But there are times where you're not going to have agreement, and you do not have to give up your principles for that. You just say, this is where we disagree.
Do you think, as a follow-up to that, do you think that there's a space in which this inclusionary type politics has gone too far, where it's made the mistake of giving up on your moral compass, or the things that need to be fixed, that need to be addressed, the balls and strikes that need to be called?
Yeah, because here's the way it works. If I say what I think about something, all of a sudden there is no logical rhetoric going on. It's an immediate, and this happened to me the other day. You're a racist. You're a Nazi. You are a fascist. I'm walking down the halls of Congress. The guy's yelling at me, "You're a Nazi." What I did, I said, "Good morning to you." What the issue is, the other side will not hear our voice. If you want to see proof of that, watch any oversight committee hearing that we have, and you will see that that's the case.
So here's my personal experience. Those that preach the most tolerance are the least tolerant among us.
That's right.
And you've got to find the right balance, but I worry that we're putting too much tolerance. You do not need a man with junk in a woman's bathroom. End of story.
It's really the simple things, isn't it? So
I didn't know that I'd ever be saying that out loud, but it seems like common sense to me, but it escapes a lot of people.
I'm gonna ask you one last question here before we go to some students who will have some questions, and we'll continue the dialogue. So what do you think for young people is the greatest threat for engaging in the political process today? Is it the violence? Is it the lawfare? Is it the threat of being canceled because you didn't sign on for again the policies that are the worst? We'll start with you and go backwards.
I think my immediate reaction is you got to find a balance in life, right? And I actually liked what the governor said. Get off your phone sometimes. Go out, feel that grass in between your toes. Go up in the mountains. Go visit us.
Get off social media.
Find the right balance. There's a place for technology. There's a place for social media. I'm on it, okay? But you got to find that balance. And if you don't find that right balance, then you get skewed and you start diving into all these rabbit holes and all these conspiracy theories that are just sometimes flat out nuts. So find that balance. That's my immediate reaction to it.
Cool. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, in my estimation, the biggest threat to young people who want to live a valued life, a life with value, is that we live in a culture that doesn't value those values. They want to punish you. And what it is if you've ever watched a bunch of crabs in an aquarium, they always move in a herd, and if one breaks off to do on its own, they go chop off a leg and bring him back. And that's what happens if you want to be a righteous, good, honest person in our society today. So they'll try to cancel you. And if they can't cancel you, they'll try to humiliate you. And if they can't humiliate you, they will resort to physical attacks on you. That's what you face today. And Charlie's answer to that was, be courageous, live a life of value, meaning get out, get married, have children, come to Christ, and do something meaningful with your life, because life is bigger than you.
So, one of the things that concerns me, one of the things that I've railed against on the left that I hear so much is the catastrophizing, that this is the worst it's ever been, that we're all going to die from climate, that whatever it is, that the world is doomed and we are all the worst, right? I want to make sure that we don't do that on our side as well. This is the greatest country in the history of the world. We are living in the greatest time in the greatest country in the history of the world. We have... The last thing I will say here is I think we make a mistake when we tell young people, and I do this, I've given these speeches at graduations and commencements, we say, go out and change the world. It's not good advice, because the truth is that most of us won't change the world. I mean, Charlie Kirk's a rarity. And I'm grateful that there are people like that, but most of us, that will not happen. So what I've started doing is telling people, don't try to change the world. Go out and change your community. Change your neighborhood. That's how we make it different. And ultimately, that is how we change the world. It's engaging one-on-one with the people who are different than us. That's how we make it different.
Precinct by precinct. Get involved in the local community. And
it's neighbor to neighbor.
Well, awesome. We're going to turn over to some questions from our students. So we'll start in order here, just over here to the right. If you could just say your name.
Good evening, panel.
And then who you're talking to.
My name is Andrea, and my question goes out to Governor Cox. It's no secret that you and Charlie did not historically see eye to eye. There are multiple instances of Charlie calling you out for refusing to protect women's sports back in 2022, and even going so far as to say that you should be expelled from the Republican Party. Since Charlie's assassination at Utah Valley, you've seemed to change your tune about Charlie. How has Charlie Kirk's death personally impacted you?
Yeah, thank you. So,
And that was Turning Point USA's campus tour event at Utah State University, first time back in the state of Utah since the killing of Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. With featured speakers, we saw podcast host Alex Clark, Utah Senator Mike Lee, as well as the governor of Utah, Spencer Cox, Congressman Andy Biggs of Arizona, former Utah Congressman Jason Chaffetz, all commemorating the life and legacy of Charlie Kirk, and looking forward to the growing the conservative movement on campuses. Please stay informed with NTD here and online at ntd.com. I'm Steve Lance. Have a great evening.